Day 2 of the Cape Summer Festival of Racing, the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas coming your way from Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the Saturday, the 7th of December. Really looking forward to it all. There's a lot going on, all sorts of festivities, but we're here for racing, of course. The big Pick 6 carryover we're looking forward to, a target of 4 million rand. That gets underway in race number 4, but like I said, lots of festivities. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all our social media avenues. Lots going on. MJ Bielefeld did the rounds with some connections leading into this meeting on Perfectly Placed, so be further information. But as for the here and now, I'm joined with the best looking panel that you probably ever get in South African racing, Lucinda Woodruff and Vicky Mount. I'm going to start off with Lou. All the nerves going into the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. An exciting day for you.
Yeah, Ali, it's my first Grade 1 runner, so I'm super excited, and it's lovely to have it for Greg and Gina. So a big day for me. We've had a lot of work behind the scenes to get here, and I'm looking forward to see how my filly goes.
Well, it might be December, but there's no rest for trainers, jockeys, presenters as well. Vicky, lot going on. Sip and Shop being the theme to this Saturday. The day 1 of the festival, the Cape Punters Cup, was a real hit. And now we get Grade 1 racing in Cape Town for the first time this season, so a lot of excitement around.
Indeed. I think as the guests are going to be sipping and shopping and then also enjoying the thoroughbreds flashing down the track, so are we. It's good racing, Alistair. And I think also too, the build-up's great because an atmosphere really builds. And then I think we all do the guessing work going into it and sort of apply our knowledge, but it's the outcome that when you watch it sort of right on the edge of your seat. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, interesting, exhilarating. So looking forward to it.
There'll be a lot of clues from the World Sports Betting Greenpoint Stakes leading into the Met, of course, the last Saturday of January, and also through the Lomarog Kings Plate as well. But now it's also the moments of truth for those 3-year-old fillies based around Cape Town. So let's get into race number 1. It's the second juvenile race of the season here in Cape Town. It's the Western Cape Equine Trust Golf Day, 24 January 2025. That's the day before the Met. Maiden juvenile plate over 1,000 metres. The word was out on debut with Black Cheetah. Is there any word out for race number 1 this time around? All debutants, Lucinda, so obviously a blank canvas. Heard anything about these horses?
Haven't heard much, Ali, but you've got to look at a filly like Claire de Lune. I know she had a big price tag on her, and obviously a filly coming in. They're usually a little bit more precocious at this time of the year. She's got the weight for age allowance of the 2.5 off her back. And yeah, Richard and Justin know how to get them ready at this time of the year.
Well, it was Richard and Justin with Black Cheetah. Is it going to be Richard and Justin again? Vicky, any whispers that you've heard?
No whispers, but I think if you look at if you assess the race based on the comments in the front of the computer form, a very positive comment for number 6, Claire de Lune, and that she's a speedy type, will go very close on debut. And that's it was probably the most positive comment, Claire de Lune being a full sister to Triple Fortune. I think that's a very good bloodline indeed. So, and as Lucinda said, the fillies are a little bit more precocious, so they sometimes get the upper hand. We've had years past where the juvenile fillies often get the better of the colts. So hopefully, the other 2 with positive comments are number 3, Good For You, the Legislate filly from the Glen Cotson yard, should be competitive. And then also number 4, Orbit from the Greg Enyon yard, the One World colt. They generally have very good actions, and we've seen previously that the One World progeny do very well in the juvenile ranks. So I think Orbit possibly also a contender. However, number 6, Claire de Lune, I think there's enough already to go on pedigree comments. I think that's a fair enough. And Justin would have prepped her well. He's prepared his horses very well this season.
And also for new owners, Rolf and Gloria Tilo, who of course are based in Switzerland. So nice to see some new colours on the South African racetrack, the red with a white star. We'll watch with interest. Let's now go on to race number 2 on the cards. The Freeman Stallions maiden plate. They go 1,200 metres. It's the start of the bipod off at 12:30. Of course, it's standalone until about 3 o'clock. So a lot of opportunity for punters to get stuck into this Hollywoodbets Kenilworth card. And it's a very hot maiden indeed. Quite a few horses that look like they're ready to win. Now, Lucinda's got a horse called number 7, My Archangel. Gavin Larina is in town to take the ride. He's the log-leading jockey of South Africa at the moment. Big improvement from run 1 to run 2, Lou. Any more progress expected from the son of Socrat?
Ali, I must say I was mildly disappointed with his first 2 runs. He showed me quite a lot at home, and he's had put up some wonderful gallops at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. We have gelded him, and I do think that may be the answer here. I've also given him a bit of time. He's quite a late fall. He's definitely one to include for all the punters, but I do think number 2, the Gurkha, had an exceptional debut. Looks quite hard to beat on that, our biggest threat. And then I had in Honour the Kings. My only problem with Honour the Kings, I think Justin's backing him up quite quickly here, going from a 14 to a 12. So yeah, those were my selections, 2, 7 and 11.
Justin must be waiting with a pair of scissors under number 11, Honour of Kings, the half-brother to Princess Colour. But to be fair, Gurkha turned a lot of heads on debut, didn't he, Vicky?
He did indeed. I think Very much so. I think also the turn of foot is noteworthy. You need that, especially down the testing Hollywoodbets Kenilworth straight. And I need to add on number 11, Honor of Kings. His mother, Princess Royal, was a sprinter, and he's built like an absolute sprinter. So he's, Justno says he's on borrowed time. So I think putting the blinkers on, and as Lucinda said, a quick follow-up is just trying to get the win under his belt. But I think that's a fair play in race 1, but Gurkha will most certainly have natural improvement. Dean generally runs his horses that way to bring them on with every one of their runs.
Related to Maharani, who of course was a high-quality horse up on the half-field. So my suggestion in race number 2 with box swingers 2, 8 and 11, so singing from the same hymn sheet. I think Umfula could be a nice horse to watch. Came from the same vicinity as Gurkha. Gurkha ran the finish out of Umfula last time, but I think that he's also got a little bit of improvement to come. Shouldn't be all that far away. Let's now go on to race number 3. It's Drakensberg stud class 4 for fillies and mares, and they go over 1,200 metres. This looks to be one of the trickier races on the card. Vicky, I'll kick off with you. Quite a few horses bringing some winning form into the picture. Likes of Captain's Destiny, who's seeking a hat-trick. We got All Is Green, who won her last start, Oktoberfest as well. And then some tried and tested horses in this race as well. Likes of Ticket to Vegas, who's obviously a year older, but holding form of late. Trappy start to the start of the PA. Any direction that you can go in?
It is a little bit. You know who's an interesting horse? You started with her was Captain's Destiny, number 11. It's 2 1s on the trot for her, and when the yards, she's had a setback early on in her career. She had a setback, and I don't think they really know how good she was. I thought her last win was very impressive. It almost confirmed that she isn't just sort of a general horse in the handicaps that'll keep sort of winning and then running places. It seems like she's showing a little bit of progress. So yes, she's 4, but I think she's a little bit behind due to that setback. An interesting runner is number 9, Oktoberfest. She too could be anything, beat Pink Pigeon and quite comfortably. And then the Glen Cotson runner, number 8, Priscilla Maisie. I thought it was impressive last time when beating Call Me Jane. I thought she'd be a little bit in need of that. She hadn't run since July, and one with a little bit of authority. She's a little bit of an unassuming filly in the flesh. But it doesn't stop there, unfortunately, Alistair. It does keep going. So like you said, a little bit more open than what possibly would like this early on in the card.
Lou, just on the subject of Priscilla Maisie, she's got form to 2 horses who run in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies, Guineas and Splash the Mainbrace and Scarlet McCall. But where would you look in a race like this? Would you look at those progressive type of horses? Or would you look at a horse that's more established, that might be a step ahead of the horse that's progressing and not the finished article?
I'm actually quite big on number 7, Festival Chic. I think she's the class horse of the race. That win, she beat Scarlet McCall, who runs in the Fillies Guineas later on the day. And I mean, surely a run like that should warrant a win in a race like this. Obviously, very disappointing in the Western Cape Fillies Championships, 10 lengths off Mont Petit Cherie, but she's a filly that's shown a lot of class, and yeah, I was quite strong on her in this race.
Let's now move on to race number 4. It's the start of the pick 6. We're all looking forward to this. The Amy Miller Memorial Class 4. They go 1,400 metres off at 13.40. As mentioned, that target is 4 million rand. Let's push to get there. Obviously, the numbers of late have been good. We enter the festive season. Quite a few people kicking back, have a little bit of extra money to spend. So hopefully we can catch this pick 6. I've tipped one, but I'll reveal those numbers once Vicky and Lou have gone through this race, because it is a big field. But maybe we can narrow this down. Lou, you've got number 4, Give That Man a Buzz. He's always given the impression that it's been one step forward, one step back with the Son of Horizon. Where's he at?
Yeah, I gave him a little bit of a shake-up on the grass last week, and he did it very well. He took absolutely no interest in his last race. Race before that was a fair run, and he won the race before that. So he's bumped a very strong race though, Ali, so he's going to have to give his best to run a place here. Obviously, number 6, Garrix, has a huge reputation, and it could be the possible bank of the card for me.
I know we don't want to go up the TCO2 avenue now, but he was obviously scratched from the Cape Punters Cup. Possibly a blessing in disguise that the handicapper might have been waiting for him. Now he can't. That's number 6, Garrix.
Those are exactly my thoughts. I think he's probably gone a much nicer route now for the horse. Yeah.
Although he won't be exposed for quite a while as a result. Vicky, Lucinda's obviously making a big song and dance about number 6, Garrix, and rightly so. Is he the horse they all need to beat, or is there something else lurking in here that you have a bit of respect for?
I think there's some horses drawn wide that you possibly need to consider. Number 14, Legal Counsel. As mentioned, a wide draw to overcome, but he won a good race last time with a little bit of authority. He could most certainly follow up. He's also got the early pace, which is a challenge on the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth long straight, because you've got to be quite patient and judge your pace well. Richard's a very good jockey at judging pace. And then you also have number 10, Rich Folks Hoax, who's, I thought his first run in Cape Town at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, he caught your eye on parade. and he came back and you're like, oh, look at him. He really looks fantastic. And he won a good race last time. I think he can keep following up. It's just that they have the draws to overcome, which is a little bit of a challenge when you've got a very racy number 6 Garrix.
Okay, so it is the first leg of the pick 6, and I have got some selections. I've gone 5, 6, and 10 in the first leg. Those, of course, are Kariaku, Garrix, and Rich Folks Hoax. I've got a bit of time for Kariaku. He ran into a little bit of traffic last time out. Gavin now gets on board for Eric's hands. Eric's horses are running well. 10 Rich Folks Hoax, I agree with Vicky, showed a lot of courage in holding off Green Gaunt last time out when getting out of the maidens. My bankers in the second leg were number 4, Asia Pambile. Then gone numbers 3, 4, and 5, Royal Aussie, Green with Envy, and Oriental Charm in the World Sports Betting Green Point Stakes. By 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, 11, and 13. So quite a few horses in the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. Mon Petit Cherie. I've also got number 3, Beware the Bomb, 4, Little Susie, 6, Kind of Wonderful, 9, My Sensation, 10, Symphony and White, 11, Gimmy's Contest, and 13, Fatal Flaw. But number 6 and 7, Navy, Strength and Holding Thumbs. And I took the easy way out on the final leg, because if we get that far, we got Field and we'll be shouting home the biggest outsider in race number 9, the final leg of that carryover pick 6. Let's now move on to race number 5. It's the World Sports Betting Southern Cross, a grade 3 over 1,000 metres, a field of 8 carded to face the starter. Asia Pambile, the best weighted column, has her miles clear. Her seasonal debut was very, very good. In fact, even last season during the summer festival, she ran above herself, didn't she, Vicky?
She did indeed, and I think that's the thing about her, is that she's done well over trips that are maybe a little bit even this, on the sharp side of her, for her, and I thought it was an exceptional run, carrying 63.5 kilos. It's a huge weight to shoulder. She's, as you mentioned, she's well weighted here. Richard Freer aboard. Her turn of foot's electric, and possibly last time there were a few hard luck stories behind Miss Marguerite. I don't think that's going to be the case in this race, and I think she's absolutely up to the task.
Who's her biggest danger? If she came unstuck, who do you think could pick up the pieces?
I think Summer Lily. She was incredibly unlucky last time. If you watch how she was ridden, ice cold, she did a little bit of bob and weaving and sort of flew up at the end, and after the post she was sort of going away from them. So I want to say that she didn't have the easiest race, did Summer Lily. They put the blinkers on last time just because they dropped her down in trip, and I think she would be the biggest danger based on her last run and how much traffic she found. Lou,
you singing from the same hymn sheet? Asia Pambile, a hard horse to beat to pick up her graded stakes victory?
I'm quite big on Miss World in this race too. Obviously, I think Asia Pambile is the class filly of the race. But Miss World's last run to Line Rampart was a fantastic run. She's a little bit unexposed amongst these fillies as well. She's been running in all the juvenile races last season against the Colts, and she's put up some fabulous runs. So, I mean, I've gone Asia Pambile by Miss World, and don't exclude Nordic Quest. She's a lot better than her last run. She had a fantastic winter season in the Cape, and she's definitely won over the 1,000 metres that I could see coming up here.
Could be a bit of a breakthrough season for number 7, Nordic Quest. But Asia Pambile looks the horse to beat in the Grade 3 World Sports Betting Southern Cross Stakes. As we now move on to what could end up being a pivotal race for the rest of the season countrywide. The World Sports Betting Green Point Stakes, Grade 2 with 600,000 rand. They go 1,600 metres. You can never forget that great finish between Legal Eagle, Do It Again, Undercover Agent, and Rainbow Bridge, roughly 5-6 years ago. That brilliant grandstand finish here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. We'll be lucky to get 2 of them get this close this time around. Vicky, I'm going to kick off with you in race number 6. We've got the reigning Hollywoodbets Durbanville winner. Obviously, he had a gallop, well-publicised gallop here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth less than 2 weeks before this. We got Green with Envy, multiple Grade 1 winner from last season. Is this a 2-horse race, or is this an opportunity, the best opportunity for one of the others to push these top boys over?
I think an opportunity for number 3, Royal Aussie, to push them over. I think that he's very race ready, and this is often what happens in these prep runs, is that you don't really want your horse to peak too soon if there's a longer goal. So I think Royal Aussie, I think also in his nature, it's always described by not only Justin, but the owners of Royal Aussie. I've jumped the gun there, but is his nature. He's so relaxed and he takes everything in his stride. I think that sets him up very well for a 3-week follow-up going into this race. I think he's racy enough for the 1,600 metres. He's proven that he gets a bit further. So it's not going to be easy, but I think, again, he's more race ready. There are other horses in the race that I think could really just run well, fresh and run on, but I think he's going to make it quite hard for them.
Lou, how do you read it? Because we've got the undeniable class of Green with Envy and Oriental Charm, both Grade 1 winners in their own right, whereas Royal Aussie's always just been that sort of bracket below. This is obviously a grade 2. Do we go with class or do we go Vicky's direction with the race-ready aspect? He's a good horse in his own right as Royal Aussie.
That's the question I asked myself when I studied this race, and I kind of came to the conclusion of you just can't not go with Green with Envy. Class alone for me is everything in a race like this. And you look at the Oriental Charm, he's probably best over Much Further. Obviously he's a very classy horse, but Green with Envy for me, summer course, mile, he's a fantastic horse. I've seen him in the mornings. He's an absolutely magnificent specimen. Dean looks like he's got him pretty ready. And yeah, I can't not only go with him.
Okay, so Green with Envy for Lou. My players, a box trifecta here, 3, 4, and 5. Keeping it simple, I think they'll run 1, 2, 3. And if you box them up, doesn't matter what order they'll run. Personally, I do think Royal Aussie might just have their edge this time around. But very, very intriguing race indeed. We'll learn a lot coming out of it. As we now go 1 to race number 7. This is the Grade 1, the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas over 1,600 metres. A race steeped in tradition, an unbelievable roll of honour, as all Grade 1s should have and do have. And this year, in 2024, we'll have another name added to the list. I'm going to start off with Lou with her first Grade 1 winner in the form of My Sensation. She's always looked like she's had a big degree of ability. Last time in the Grade 2 Western Cape Fillies Championship, I don't believe she had the rub of the green. You can elaborate more. Do you think she's up to this task?
Yeah, we had a lot of homework after that last race. We rode her very differently, which we all regretted afterwards. But she's a filly that likes to come from off them, and we're going to keep it and stick to that plan here again. She's got tons of ability, and physically, the way she's come on and how she's stripped up and strengthened, she's looking fantastic at home. I don't believe I could have her in better condition. Mentally, that was always her problem in her latter races, and she just seems to have her eye on the job now. So I'm really excited to be presenting her as my first Grade 1 runner, and I do think she's up to it.
What about her first trip on the summer course? How much of an advantage do you think that's going to be? Because as you say, different tactics last time. It looks like her best secret is the turn of foot, which she showed at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and even on debut when not winning behind Polynomial. She came from the absolute clouds. Coming to an extra 200-metre run or 150-metre run, is that going to serve her well? Yeah,
and I actually think a wider draw benefits us with a filly like her. She does like to take a bit of a hold in the beginning, so if we can just slot her in towards the end of the field and have her running through the horses, that's how she loves to run. So I think the race conditions should suit her to the T on Saturday.
So it's a big moment for Lucinda. It's also a big moment for James Crawford. He's now officially in the card as a joint trainer with his father, Brett, and he'll be here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth to put a saddle, or help put a saddle on these runners. Vicky, how do you read it? Because as far as the Cape Fillies Guineas goes, generally we come into the race, there's normally a horse that you can pinpoint, put an absolute tick on the box and move on. This year it might be a little bit different because we've got the Classic Guineas Countess, we've got the Joe Big form of Fatal Flaw, which is standing up well, but how's Fatal Flaw going to go at sea level, and how is Guineas Countess going to go over a mile? These are questions that we need to answer.
Thank you, Alistair. I've almost gone through with 2 columns here, and I think what I've done is, so you take number 1, Mon Petite Cherie, number 9, My Sensation, and number 11, Guineas Countess. So they're in my 1 column. Mon Petite Cherie, a very impressive win last time. It was quite an artful ride from Richard. He was 1 off at the back. He switched in up the straight, really stalked them along the rail, and produced a late. She's an enormous filly. She's had a gallop since, and you can imagine why, just because she's she's just so big. 1,400 metres surely wasn't asked for her. I think she'll be much better over the summer course and also over the 1,600 metres. You've got number 9, My Sensation, as Lucinda's touched on her. You know, the approach is very good, and just taking into account that Lucinda's very happy with her prep, I think adds a lot of confidence, and she's a filly that's on the up. So I think that she obviously has to be included. A little bit of a wide draw, but I think with the tactics, it will really help. Number 11, Guineas Countess, she was flying last time. She was on the rail and went off the rail and for a wider run. So they almost sort of crossed each other and went different routes. I thought she made up a huge amount of ground in a creditable way. She was very impressive at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and I think you can't discredit that. She can sometimes be unlucky when her momentum's broken, but Craig will, thankfully, with a long straight, you can be more patient and wait a little bit on them. Then you have the other collection, which is number 3, Beware the Bomb, number 4, Little Susie, and then number 10, Symphony in White. So it's obviously the Drakenstein stud bunch. I thought Beware the Bomb, Grant van Niekerk made a pre-race comment last time when he was aboard Little Susie that he's possibly on the wrong one, and Beware the Bomb almost got up to win. So it was and they've swapped now. So Sean's riding number 4 Little Susie, Grant Finnickx on Beware the Bomb. There was a very good run. She made up a good amount of ground, and she crossed the line with a lot in hand. Then on the other side of it, you get Little Susie, who didn't really get into it from the point of view that she probably wasn't placed where she was her most sort of happiest. She was in there, but not really aggressive enough in the finish. But I do think she's got a lot of similarities to her mother, Susanna, just in the way that she carries herself and she sort of flattens herself and runs on. So I think she's still strengthening up, but I think she's got good raw ability. And the last of them is number 10, Symphony at White. She's interesting that she's going the trip, but last time hinted, again, Candice is very good at this. She tests them in sort of understated ways, knowing what she's got to work with, and then applies it when it's needed the most. And I think with this filly, she's obviously out of Snow Dance, which would be wonderful for the stud. And this whole combination wouldn't be, they're very comfortable in the winner's box when it comes to this level, just because of their previous success. And I think that she's also found good confidence and good momentum within her career. So I think that she's also, look, it's not easy from that point of view, but it's great to digest and consume and just see a bunch of fillies that it's going to also come down to a little bit of luck in running.
Absolutely, and as you'll tell by my pick 6, I've got a lot of horses. And no mention of Fatal Flaw, number 13, Joburg Fall?
No, well, absolutely. Number 13, Fatal Flaw. And Pierre Stratham aboard from a wide draw.
He's coming.
Correct.
Yep. Well, Fatal Flaw obviously beating Will de Vallis last time. Will de Vallis winning the Fillies Mile at Turfentine on Betway Summer Cup Day, and to form to quid pro quo, probably the best 3-year-old filly in the country, undoubtedly the best 3-year-old filly in the country, does stack up well. Let's go on to race number 8 off at 4 o'clock. It's the World Sports Betting Cape Summer Stayers Handicap listed feature over 2,500 metres. A small field go to post. Might be a small field, but it's a very complex race, isn't it, Vicky?
It is complex. You've also got some horses that you sort of say the 2-5, and then you think, why not? So, and you often hear trainers saying, there's not that much diversity in the staying ranks, so give it a go, and if it works out for you, you can possibly have a very competitive season.
Lou, any direction that you can take? The lack of pace here is probably a bit of a question mark. Might take them a while to finish over 2,500 metres. Not for any other reason other than the fact that there's just no ready-made apparent pacemaker here.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at a filly like Love is a Rose, probably the class horse of this race for me. She's a magnificent mare and she's done them so proud. Second to Damio last time. She has to carry top weight here though, which I think could be quite tricky. Holding Thumbs is a very interesting one for me. I think he's probably the up-and-coming stayer of the season. This will be his test of that, of course. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. I've gone Love is a Rose, Holding Thumbs, and you've got to add in Alice Maurice there.
Very, very interesting race. Probably the type of race you want to have as many horses as you can in the pick 6. Number 6, Navy Strength, is a horse that interests me on his win to King Pele's. He too is not absolutely certain to reach this trip, although he's bred to. But I think with a lack of pace, he might just be able to have the legs to see him run a big race in the 8th of the afternoon. On we go to race number 9. It's a Johnson Workwear Cape B Stakes, and they go 2,000 metres. And I'm very, very interested in a few horses here. It's a very trappy race, and we need all the help that we can get. But one horse who's got to be alive is Lou's runner, number 5, Marshall Field. Again, with a turn of foot. He needs to be ridden a certain type of way. There are times where we've watched him and gone, that wasn't too pretty to watch, only because, is it quirks? Is it just the way that he prefers to be ridden? What is the story with him? Because on a going day, he's deadly.
He hates the wet, Ali. That's why I just decided to put him away in the winter. His worst runs have all come in soft going. And I must say he's looking phenomenal at home. Very happy. I've kept him back for this. Very nice comeback run. It was nice to see some shades of Marshall Field again at Durbanville, a track he doesn't enjoy and doesn't really suit him. Nice to see there is going to be a bit of pace in this race, which should suit him down to the T. He's dropped a little bit in the ratings now and he carries 54, so all we need is half a decent pace, and I'm sure we'll see that lovely finish he has on the summer course.
Are you happy with the shape that the yard's in at the moment? Obviously a couple of nice places here on Wednesday with horses that are nowhere near of the same ability of Marshall Field.
Yeah, we've had a very quiet 6 weeks, Ali. We've had a lot of building and horrible things going around us in our environment. The horses were not in the greatest of form in November, but I have seen the yard turning in a great way, and these horses I'm presenting on Saturday, I'm very happy with all of them.
I think we've all seen that turn out of Lou's yard, so Watch out, here comes the Woodruff Express. Anything that you can be solid in race 9 for your side, Vicky?
I like number 9, Join the Dots. I think that he's quite versatile. I think that he's also on the up. He's carrying 54 kilos and a horse that he sort of started off as an 86. He dropped a little bit in 81, but he's been quite consistent. He's kind of 2 wins beating Groove Jet and came out 3rd behind Song to the Moon, which I thought was a very competitive race. Yes, he had it his own way. He was drawn 1. It makes it a whole bunch easier. So I think that he's a big runner. Magic Verse is fascinating. Last time I almost questioned why now, going a little bit of a trip, but I think it's a good test. And as I mentioned in the previous race, people are trying to sort of test how far they can go. I thought last time he performed incredibly well. So if he enjoys a little bit extra again, I think they're in with a good wicket. I'm glad Lucinda's obviously touched on Marshall Field, and he's in good place because that turn of foot of his is unbelievable. And the other one he's such a big burly horse and fascinating is number 1, Lightning Glow. Last time out reported respiratory noise, but he still ran a great 3rd. So big, strong, fitter, 3rd run after a race. So drawn 1, a lot in his favour. But like you say, it is a little bit sort of more wide open.
Song to the Moon form is definitely going to be one that comes under the spotlight. Let's go on to the final race, the Pamela Isdale Class 3, and they go 1,400 metres. Race runs at 5:10. There's some reputations on the line here, aren't there, as we go on to the 10th and last race. Vicky, I'll kick off with you. Anything that tickles your fancy?
Tutor number 12. I think that he's really dropped in the ratings, and he's got a fair amount of pace. He's absolutely incredible over the 1,400 metres, and yes, the draw is something to overcome, but I mean, he was running off a 104. He's now running off an 88. It's a huge drop, and you can see how, as he sort of trickled down, he's just become more and more competitive. Physically, as a horse, he's in a very, very good space. Number 10, the Grey King, he's
a basket case.
I was trying to be more diplomatic and polite about it, but yes, it keeps Justin on his toes. He needs that. He needs the challenge. And also a big CRS Big Cap candidate, which is the focus towards the end of the season, mid-March. Alistair, there's a horse here called Mapaka, number 8.
Don't remind me.
It was one of Alistair's 3 to follow, if you all want to know the context of that. And then Power and the Glory, number 3. Last time out, I think we were waiting to see how he was going to perform and see where Justin went with him. But thankfully, MJ spoke to Justin for perfectly placed. So please have a look at those interviews and get first-hand information from Justin. He's always pretty spot on, knows his horses well. And then you also have Big Unit, who gets himself a little bit uptight. Number 5, Willie John, who's really finding himself again in a nice bit of confidence. So I know that's quite a spread, but it is that kind of race that you sort of do need to consider a few more horses.
It's a nice race to play, a quartet. Lou, is anything that appeals to you in the last?
Yeah, Vicky touched on everything. I'm quite big on Tuafe in here. I think there's a lovely weight turnaround with a lot of these horses with him, and his last run, it was nice to see some glimpses back of his ability. I've gone by Big Unit over Power of the Glory.
Okay, so I think Tuafe is a big runner, but the draw just worries me. So obviously the quartet probably the way to go in the last race. Expect a big pool. Double float 2 and 3 by the field. That's the way to go. I hope that's something at a big price can run into the top 4. At the moment, Power and the Glory's reputation precedes him, but I'm sure he can run into the top 4. Maybe with a little bit of luck, he can put that last run behind him, which wasn't all that bad behind Big Unit, who he reopposes. So that is pretty much a wrap as far as this panel discussion is concerned for the second day of the Cape Summer Festival. It just leaves me to say goodbye and thank you to Lou and Vicky. Lou, may this first Grade 1 runner be everything that you desire. May it be the start of something special, and long may the winners continue.
Super. Thank you for having me, Ali. And Vicky.
Vicky, you never miss a beat. Another day at the office, another week at the office coming up after this, leading up to the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. It's a great build-up, Alistair. And I just need to add on with this WSB Cape Fillies Guineas race, there's also a wonderful charity aspect. So the Western Cape Equine Trust also formulate part of this historically, and it's a wonderful race day, so they'll also be here, and it just adds an extra factor that just makes it more heartwarming.
Well, hopefully we'll see you here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth for the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll hopefully be a day to remember, and hopefully we've steered you in the right direction.